Throughout the entirety of the Atari 2600 game catalog, you will find examples of game premises that will force you to give pause and think to yourself, I don't know what drugs these guys were on, but wow, they must have been really, really good. This is one such game because wow, the premise is really out there. You are in control of a gorilla who has a penchant for painting, and you are set loose on a giant maze that just has to be changed from a dreadful orange color to a much more cheery blue. This is made more difficult by the fact that there are 5 warriors roaming the maze whose only goal is to murder you. Not capture you, not contain you, but murder you, or as the instructions say, do you in. This ranks up there with the oddest of video game situations. However, if you are successful in painting the entire maze blue, the second level descends further into madness. Now, instead of a gorilla, you are a sentient paint roller that is being pursued by a pack of pigs. And I don't mean pigs in the slang for cops context, I mean honest-to-God, oink-oink pigs. And if this weren't odd enough, if you paint each of the 4 corners, the enemies turn into harmless chickens for a short time, which gives you the opportunity to hurt them. Like I said, the designers got into some really good stuff. Unfortunately, they used all their good stuff on coming up with the concept, because the execution is severely lacking. Your gorilla paint roller moves incredibly slow, while your nemesis moves at a much faster pace, which increases with each successive stage. This would have been a game breaker if it wasn't for another design choice, beating it to the game-breaking punch. Each of the 5 enemies moves in a very predictable pattern, and what's worse, the instruction manual tells you exactly how they move. One of the 5 enemies moves around the border of the maze, always in the same direction and always at the same speed. The other 4 are all over the place. However, they always turn at the first ladder they come to. With this information coupled with your ability to hit the button and magically pass through enemies up to 4 times per life, it becomes incredibly easy to safely make your way around the board. If you have always wondered what life would be like as a paint enthusiast gorilla or a sentient roller brush, then you should definitely check this out. If you are looking for fast-paced chase gameplay, there are plenty of better options on the 2600. The longer you look at the box cover artwork, the more you realize just how good those drugs were for the designers. Just a lot to take in here. Despite the absurdity on display here, the manual is fairly straightforward and doesn't really add much to the proceedings, outside of giving a detailed description of enemy movements. This Parker Brothers release is also one of the more common games on the 2600 and did show up in a catalog as well. This is an ambitious yet flawed take on the tank battle simulation made famous by the Atari Original Combat. The core concept is simple. You have tanks with an unlimited supply of bullets, and you must destroy the enemy before they destroy you. Each war gives you and your opponent 25 reserve tanks to do battle with 2 at a time across a variety of terrains. When the combat begins, you will have 2 tanks randomly placed on a randomly selected battlefield. There are several different terrains that your tank can encounter, from roads to lakes to forests. Each of these will impact how fast your tank can travel. For example, you will fly across the roads while crawling through the forest. Don't like where your tank has spawned? No problem. When you hit down on the controller, you switch to the other tank under your command. While this is a relatively innovative feature, it can get a bit annoying when you are trying to line up a shot only to fire a shell out of the wrong tank because you inadvertently hit down while aiming. This can also be very problematic if you hit your own tank, as friendly fire is alive and well here. The good news is each tank can withstand 3 shots before exploding, so if you do shoot yourself in the back, it won't necessarily be a fatal blow. While the overall concept is good, there are some serious flaws in the execution, the biggest of which are the controls. Aside from the accidental tank switching, the aiming and firing can be very frustrating due to touchy controls. It is incredibly difficult to drive in a straight line thanks to the sensitivity of the controls. So even if you are able to find a road to roll across, chances are your tank is going to look like a drunk guy pushing a shopping cart across an icy parking lot with how much you're going to be going all over the road. The aiming is even worse, since instead of being able to rotate your tank smoothly, it clicks into the next turning position. Like instead of a second hand on a clock rotating through all 60 seconds, it went in 5-second increments. This can make anything but a straight-on shot very difficult. However, there's an option to have ricocheting bullets, which can make life a bit easier. The other flaw is kind of hard to overcome, however. Unlike 99.9% of games, there is no single-player option here. Granted, back in the day when this came out, it might have been easy enough to find someone else willing to sit down and take you on. Unless you are at a retro gaming convention today, you are probably out of luck. That said, if you're looking for a more robust attempt at combat, this is worth a look. Another M-Network box cover. Another 70% logo coverage. The artwork that is tucked into the corner is nice, however. The manual is straightforward and doesn't add much to the overall experience. The cartridge itself is one of the oddly shaped black cartridges that are the bane of any collector's shelf display. The game did appear in an M-Network catalog, however the ad is very basic. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe to see more Game Encyclopedia videos.